The Warlock, with her tiny demonic fists of fury and ranged attack, she enters the battle halls, ready to unleash her demonic force from a safe distance. That is, until provoked to enrage, when she becomes a goblin decimating machine. Welcome back, brave heroes. This is the Trial of the Warlock. A traditional first game of HeroQuest consists of Mentor sending 4 heroes into a trial that will prove their might, should they best the foul gargoyle Varag without perishing in the dark depths. But today, the Warlock will be entering alone. Bold, brash, and ready to take out chaos trash all alone in this classic simulation of the trial. The Warlock already knows how to get to Varag, and wants to dish out as much punishment as possible before sending him to a stony grave. But will her ego be her ultimate downfall? Before we begin, I want to disclaim that this will be an accurate depiction of the trial, and will as such contain spoilers for this first quest of the game. For this playtest, we will play Zargon as aggressively as possible. All monsters will move and attack if the hero is in range, and monsters adjacent to the hero will attack then move away, in order to allow other monsters to move in and attack. The Warlock will skip searching for treasure as well as traps in this simulation, but is bringing with her 1 potion of health. This potion will simulate the likelihood of accompanying a fellow hero who has a healing spell. Lastly, before I begin, I want to thank Always Bored Never Boring for being an inspiration to this concept. I have watched many of his solo classic dungeon crawler gameplays, and I've been highly entertained by all of them. If you like this video, do go check him out, as he does this much better and has excellent informative classic tabletop role-playing game content. And now, onward, brave Warlock. Now, if you're all done laughing at my erroneous placement of the stairs and door for the first room of the trial after I said accurate depiction, you can all stop. I have corrected myself. One of the things that I actually lack from the original HeroQuest is the correct movement die, which is kind of painful, but for this we will be using a regular 2 movement die whenever there are monsters in our line of sight. And so the first thing the Warlock is going to do is move out of the beginning room, opening the door and exposing what lies in the halls beyond. And as of now, there's not much that she can see, except a hallway that terminates in a mysterious, possibly dangerous corner, and a door. And so from this point on, we will roll for movement, because I want to enter this door. And we've got a 7. She moves 4 spaces and opens the door. I bet you were missing these guys, weren't you? The OG HeroQuest orcs. There's nothing like them. Now I have 3 more movement spaces that I can use before I end the Warlock's movement phase. The orcs are busy, perhaps staring at the skulls on the alchemist's workbench, and don't notice the Warlock's tiny form has just opened the door. I'm going to attack. The wand gives her 2 attack dice against any monster that she can see, and can be only used by the Warlock. Because she's going solo in the trial, I'm going to let her have this wand. I've heard people say that the wand is fairly overpowered, and I'm not going to disagree with that. For somebody who's constantly able to just move and fire. And we have 1 skull. Our orc rolls defense. We're actually going to target the orc in front of the door. 1 black shield, and the orc successfully defends. Drat. The orc moves in for the kill. After her wand fires off a fiery spell that nearly singes his eyebrows. 1 attack die has been rolled. The Warlock, due to being just plain tiny, is able to roll a defense, and she successfully rolls a 1. Alright, the other orc can't actually attack her, but he can kind of move off to the side, forcing her to have to come into the room to see him properly. And that ends Zargon's turn. Now, there's nothing in the rules that states I can't use a ranged attack from point blank, so I'm actually going to do just that. 2 shields. Nothing happens. I'm going to try to run away. I've rolled a 6. That's not enough to outrun the orcs, so I'm actually not going to use the roll, and I'm just going to stand right here. Wait, no I'm not. That would be foolish. I'm actually going to move 1 space away, and I'll explain why that is. Oh look, it's the old boot. It's because if I were to stand there, this orc, who was adjacent to me, would have attacked and then ran away, and the other orc would have moved in to attack. So by actually moving away 1 square, I'm forcing the orcs to have to close the distance, and only one of them will be able to attack me. If you liked this tip, my Patreon is down in the description below. Oh my god. And he has rolled 3 skulls. Well, I didn't want to have to do this so early in the game, but I think I'll actually... No, you know what? I'll at least roll defend first and give myself a chance to defend against that. 1 shield and 1 black shield. If I do this, I'll lose half of the warlock's total body points. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I am going to cast Dark Wings. This spell can be cast on an enemy's turn after I have suffered damage. Reduce that damage to 0 and move instantly to any unoccupied square you can see. So I know that orcs have movement of up to 8. I can't really move her far enough away to not get attacked by the other orc. But I can move here. So her body points have been reduced by 2, and I have used Dark Wings to negate that, and I've flown straight over the orc in just this beautiful demonic pirouette. Tiny demonic pirouette. The other orc cannot attack me because his friend is in the doorway, and he himself would be considered adjacent, but there's this pesky wall in the way, so therefore Zargon must end his turn. I, the warlock, I'm going to attack the orc from behind. I've rolled 1 skull. Let's see if he can defend against that. And as you can see, he does not. My first kill has been made. The orc dies. It is still my turn. I think I will roll my movement dice. Well, you know what? I'm not afraid. The orc's going to attack me no matter what. I might as well go right into the room with him and block the door. I'm not trapped in here with you. Indeed, you are trapped in here with me. The orc just saw his buddy get completely roasted, saw his friend's skull melt from behind, and he's decided he's going to swing the machete wildly in an attempt to stop this looming, diminutive threat. And he's rolled 2 skulls. Fortunate for him, unfortunate for me. I rolled defense, and I have managed to mitigate 1 of those skulls. I take the other as damage. There's no point in moving the orc away, so Zargon will leave the orc where he is. And now the warlock takes another turn. It's 1 skull. Will the orc be able to defend against the wand pointed at his face? No. Indeed. His face melts completely off, revealing that of a skeleton. Of course, I've killed the monster, so the skeleton just collapses into a pile of harmless bones. Now that it's my turn again, I'm going to do what I should have done from the beginning and cast Demon Form. The Warlock will ignore pit traps and may roll 1 extra combat die each time they attack until the spell is broken. The spell is broken when the hero suffers 1 body point of damage. Regain the spell when you reduce a monster's body points to 0. The Warlock is now in Demon Form. I'm not going to move her from that spot freely. I'm actually going to roll because I plan on going through this next door. And with an 8, I definitely have enough gumption to do that. The warlock in her half-demon form decides to smash through the door with a swipe of a mighty demonic claw, revealing the inhabitants inside the room. And inside the room we have a Famir checking out the weapons on the rack, as well as a goblin who is admiring the Famir's mighty physique. "I want to be just like you," the goblin says, thinking that the shattering of the wooden door beside him is due to just the oafish orcs next door. "You see, Famir, I'd love to grow up one day and... Oh my god!" The warlock completes her movement behind the goblin and now rolls her entitled 3 combat dice. That is 3 skulls. The goblin is unable to defend against 3 skulls. They can only roll 1 defense dice. The goblin is incinerated immediately. I should have went after the Famir. But the Famir turns, smiling, almost as if to thank me for getting rid of that pesky goblin. Then hefts his mighty axe and charges forwards. The Famir has 3 attack dice, and they're all currently aimed in my head. Only 2 skulls were rolled. Now, while my demon form allows me to roll an extra attack die, it doesn't allow me to roll extra defense. And I don't like counting angles. So 1 of those attacks were mitigated, unfortunately, because she lost a hit point. She's also lost her demon form. I'm going to get this guy back, and she's going to fire her wand directly at the eyeball on his cone head. 2 skulls. If the Famir fails to mitigate either of these skulls, he will perish. But he has 3 defense dice. Not a 1 of which were black skulls. The Famir roars in pain, clutching both mighty hands to his face instead of attempting to wildly swing his axe at the apparition before him before the searing magic spell goes through his skull. The warlock has killed 4 monsters on her own and has only lost 1 hit point. Because we have just actually succeeded in taking down the Famir after her demon form spell wore off, we are able to regain it, and we will thusly open this door. Now, there are no monsters visible, and I haven't rolled for movement yet, but I will go ahead and do that. That's a 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and at this point, we can see the door that leads into the next room. And I did say that she was going to deal plenty of damage, and while I'm not going to take her through the entirety of the trial, I think that this next room will be a great test. By entirety, I mean she's not going to explore every room. She's definitely going to go and take on Varag before this concludes. Now, you veteran players know what's behind this door. I've only got 3 movement spaces left. And you also know that if you're playing with new players, it's not the best idea to come into this room. And if you're by yourself, it is really not a good idea to come into this room. And that's because this room is inhabited by 2 Chaos Warriors. The movement spaces I have are more than enough for me to enter the room, which, you know what, I'm not going to do that, because if I do, and I stand on this tile right behind the door, they will be able to team up on me. They'll both be able to attack me in the same turn. It's too late for me to cast Demon Form. That would have been the intelligent thing to do. So instead, I'll just fire a bolt at the first Chaos Warrior. I'm going to have to eat this because I did plan on casting Demon Form as soon as possible. Didn't work out. 1 skull. Well, she was pretty shocked when she opened the door and saw these 2 heavily armored suits. The Chaos Warrior is a real pain in the rear. He has 4 defendi, and not a single one of them were able to mitigate the surprise attack by the tiny warlock. A skull to remind us of the damage done to the first Chaos Warrior. He's very annoyed. He steps forward and swings his mighty axe into the frame of the door, rolling 4 attack dice. Ooh, and 3 of them are skulls. This is not good for my warlock. Not having demon form on for that extra attack was not a good idea. Not because it would have helped her defend, but it keeps her from killing these guys as fast as possible. She rolls her defense anyway. And there are no white shields. This means that the warlock has taken a total now of 4 damage. And that is equal to her body points. The warlock is felled in combat. I did not take the opportunity to cast demon form. I did not take the opportunity to drink the potion. But this is a simulation. Mentor's words can be heard throughout the halls, chiding the warlock. Foolish child, you ran headfirst into the trial, alone, thinking you could beat Verag, but it was not enough. So that concludes my first warlock playtest in the trial. This could have been handled quite differently by me, and so I can't place the blame on the character. I will attempt this trial again. So please stay tuned for that. Having said that, I am pretty impressed. I did happen to kill 1 Famir, 1 Goblin, and 2 Orcs before meeting my match. So I think that had this quest been populated by 3 more heroes, this definitely would have had a different outcome, or at the very least it would have drug out a lot longer before the warlock would have died. And that is it for this playthrough. If you enjoyed it, I would love to know in the comments below, as I am inclined to do more videos just like this, and so far am planning to run the other new heroes through the trial simulation as well. But if there is a demand, I could do this all day. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Until then, bye for now.